Yo, what's up? Okay, I think I'll do a request video because I got it like a couple weeks ago and I never did it. And it's like, well, when the hell am I going to do it? So, I'm doing it now. It's 2:43 a.m. The question came from uh, Sarah Stone, who wants to know, have me do the video about about Enlightenment. So I did the Wikipedia article about it, and they're talking about your typical idea of enlightenment, and then also like yoga, how it does has to do with yoga. So I'll talk about my ideas of it. So I'm really tired. If I blow this, I'll just stop talking and do it some other time when I'm not so tired. Yeah, maybe if I smoke some reefer, it'll make things better. Okay, yeah. So my idea of enlightenment. Okay, well, I grew up Buddhist, and so I grew up within a concept of it, and I remember that. So that's like you don't have to reincarnate anymore. That's kind of like the as a kid, what you would kind of say, and go on to the next level. Um, but okay, so my idea of enlightenment, and now let me talk about it like in the context of Buddhism, like originally. So Buddha lived 500 BC, and he was a Hindu prince, and then he goes out and he meditates, and he decides, okay, all you need to do is meditate. So I did the Vipassana meditations, and that the guy says that it's just original Buddhism, so it's just focusing on the breath and not thinking, and just. But the original, I think, idea of Buddhism. Same thing if any of the revolutionary religions is a simplification. Um, let's not pray all these gods, and let's just um, pay attention to what's important in life. And so, for the Christians, it was let's just pray to one God, and for the Indians with Buddhism, it was meditate and get your enlightenment. So enlightenment would be in my short definition would be enjoying every moment to its fullest, like naturally living without time. That's because that's the most blissful situation you could possibly be in when you're not when you love your job. That's basically enlightenment. So enlightened person would be any person who loves their job, that's doing a good job, um, like in an industry that does good, and somebody who doesn't care if they even finish what they're doing, or um, if doesn't care how successful they are to the outside world, because they are perfectly happy knowing that whatever they're doing within themselves, they are doing exactly what they were born to do. So in India, the concept of they connected enlightenment with yoga a lot in the Wikipedia article, which I thought was interesting because yeah, yoga is just like exercise. But my concept of it was If you're see if the concept of enlightenment is being able to enjoy every single moment of your life to its fullest, um, and but by um, um, being the best that you can be, striving every day and working every day to make yourself the best that you can be. In ancient India, doing yoga was the best thing to do because India is has a zillion people, and I think because it's down there near the equator, and I think it gets a lot of rain, has the Ganges and lots of rivers going through it, so it supports life very easily. Lots of different animals and stuff, and so you don't have to do much to survive. So when you don't have to do much to survive, people's cultures are influenced by the environments that they live in, and if you're like for example the Egyptians, that was the same kind of a thing. Their stuff, their Nile flooded, and then they got all this free food, and they just could sit around, and that's why they invented they had all that spare time to do all of that religious stuff that they did, and the culture and everything in ancient Egypt, and domesticating all the animals and all that kind of stuff. So in India, if most of the people can just sit around, even in like medieval Europe, the serf, was never allowed to leave the land. He was tied to his land. He was basically like a slave. But he was only required to work like not 2 days a week. It's not like life was that hard. So they're sitting around, but in India, there's lots of people who just don't have to do anything. They just sit around. It's like free food, and so in the ancient world, when you don't have opportunities to do great things, because in reality, see, the Indians are we could have a lot to learn from the Indians. The Indians are peaceful. Their idea of bringing the world up isn't doing a good thing, isn't going on quest and like defeating half the world or something. It's just to kind of be peaceful. And so the best way to be a good person and to be a positive like impact on the environment is to just help yourself. And so they'd sit around and do yoga all day long and their exercises and their stretches to make themselves the best. It's kind of like, I guess it would be the similar. So that would be like an enlightened person. So to bring that concept over to Europe, how about in the ancient Roman Empire, the guy watching the guard tower, um, and instead of just sitting around twiddling his thumbs and bitching and moaning that he is not back with his wife back in Rome or something like that, or on quest to defeat the Romans or something, he's perfectly content living in that beautiful guard tower out in the woods, and it's a perfect life. And he's spending all of his time like becoming a better soldier, practicing his sword play and all that stuff. That would be an enlightened person because they're perfectly happy. They're like the little kid and skipping down the road whistling. Person who thoroughly enjoys the situation that they're in. And so the easiest way to become enlightened is to, do what you want to do or enjoy doing what you want to do. And if you don't enjoy doing what you are doing, then do what you want to do and just, make do with less. This country's still free enough to people will be able to live out of their cars and stuff and not get thrown in jail. Or if you do get thrown in jail, I guess they feed you. I don't know how bad it is, but yeah, I mean, in our economy, if we managed it correctly, we could have enough money to just pay out to people to live in tents or whatever, and they wouldn't have to have jobs. They go to the soup kitchen or whatever, and they'll have their Medicaid and even give them apartments. They don't have to work, and they can just hang out and do their yoga all day long and be enlightened. And so that's what I think enlightenment is. Somebody who's doing their best their best in the world, and by following the rules and doing the good things, and being completely content with however little or much they have, knowing all you need is yourself and your health and time to improve yourself. So I think it's that word enlightenment is a comes from the East, comes from Buddhism, and so we I guess an interesting thing to do in the conversation would be to compare the differences in how the West and the East would interpret it. I probably should talk about the Enlightenment too, because that has to do with it. The Enlightenment was when in the 1700s, when Europeans became interested in ancient Roman culture and Greek culture and stuff again, and which kind of dissolved their different country boundaries and kind of helped them see with the unity between themselves, kind of like with the ancient Roman Empire. And then that led to where we are now. So, what does that have to do with the Eastern concept of enlightenment? Well, West, the Enlightenment of the West of Europe was a result of more knowledge and education. And so, in the Eastern concept of enlightenment, if you shed more light and knowledge on a situation, you'll become enlightened. If you think about it enough, you'll become enlightened. People people who are selfish and only kind of want to make money for themselves and then strive after that aren't going to be happy, because whenever they lose money, they'll be sad. And when things don't go away with their way, which they inevitably won't if they're working in a bad industry, like if they're a gambler and they keep winning gambling, they won't feel fulfilled. And so, we constantly need this, I guess, mechanism in society to help push people to realize what really matters in life, which is being good, just being a good person. And then that will bring you all of your joy that you ever need. And then you don't need to, worry about anything. And then the society can grow. And so, I feel enlightened. I feel like when I moved here, all of the weed becoming legal, and in the situation that I'm in, where I love my job and the job that makes me money right now, and I don't have to do too much of it, because I can work all the time on my website here. I know that it takes a long time, and I'll have lots of things in the future that I want to do, but I kind of don't care how long it takes, because I know that it doesn't matter. No matter how, I'm already working as much as I can, so I can't make it go any faster. And so I just resign myself to knowing that part of life is the journey. Part of the meaning of life is just enjoying what I'm doing now. And there's plenty of benefits to it. I get to smoke weed all day long. I wouldn't be able to do that if I did other things. I get to listen to the audio stuff or whatever I want all day long. And also I get to be by myself, which gives me all kinds of ideas that I would never have otherwise. And so, so, and I have enough time to do it. So I think we could make everybody in society enlightened if we were to just make it so that that they could have more time on their hands to do their own thing. Once you relieve people of the slavery of having to work all the time, um, you know, and if and make it so that people can, yeah, once you get to the economy to a certain level, we'll all become enlightened. We'll all enjoy what we do, naturally fall in line and do the right thing in society. Like just naturally, we'll all just do it, do the right job, and find the right economy. Um, all we have to do is give each person who tries enough spare time to go and do it. Not keep people locked up. Yeah, because like me, I have enough I have a lot of spare time, and so now I'm Google Earthing Rome, and I love it. And even if it takes me like years and years and years, um, it's something that I believe in, and so it's kind of like those yogis. There's this guy named, I can't remember his name. He's like the Middle Eastern yogini in Syria, and he built a 60-foot high tower that was only like 6 feet wide or something, that he just stood on top of doing yoga, like doing standing up, putting his what was it, the sunshine, putting his heads all the way to the ground, and then touching his hands to the ground, and then his head's all the way to the ground. Somebody lost count at 1,300 until he finally died after 30 years of doing that from an a cyst on his leg. But yeah, because he loved doing what he was doing, and that's just what he did, because he knew that he was making a positive impact on the world by making a legend of himself and inspiring other people to do something. And being an ornament for his town. But yeah, so that's what enlightenment is. It's and also I think the concept of it, yeah, also like in the religious sense, is not being hypnotized by petty um, drama, petty temporal desires, like people getting really angry and pissed off about money and stuff like that, and status. Um, yeah, so, and I think we've always cherished those types of people, like the beggars, giving our money to the beggars on the street, and the sadhus, and the just taking care of every aspect of society, um, making everybody. If we can have an enlightened society as a society that allows everybody to have a place. For example, in ancient Rome, when they first started Rome, Romulus, he set up the 100 senators were the patrician class, were descendants of the first 100 senators he had. And then after that, there was the Esquians. And then after that, they would have like the plebeians. And then after that, and this is in the very beginning, like even the non kind of people, like the people so nowadays you kind of have those people, like the basket cases, the people who you can only trust to weave baskets their whole life. Um, Back in ancient Rome, they had their army of 4,000, and in ancient Rome that meant every man was the army. Not like the sissy Romans who got conquered by the Goths just sitting around. In ancient Rome, the people were the army, and so that meant normal people, and so that you'd even get the basket cases off the streets and arm them with a spear, you know. And so everybody had a place, and everybody's happy, and you just naturally sift into where you are based on who you are, and nobody judges you, and you always can do whatever you're capable of doing at your absolute extent. That's an enlightened society, because everybody's working like busy bees, And if you have a society like that, less and less people are going to be the basket cases, and more percentage of the people are going to be capable. So I think, yeah, the key is to just is freedom. Allow people to be free. And I think meditation helps with enlightenment and the Eastern concept. And I think that's because it allows people to just experience time, slow down time. Because the only thing that keeps people from being able to just sit there and enjoy their time is like that outside voice kind of saying, like, you're not going to be high enough in the community. If you do something now, get ahead, do something now. And so, and that yelling, that, that's more like, do what we need you to do or whatever. Or it's like some kind of competition. Because in an unhealthy society, it's like dog eat dog, and if you don't get your scraps, you'll starve to death, type of a thing. So anyway, I think I've babbled enough. This is stony version of enlightenment. Okay, peace out.